That's what my mind naturally does.
We know, Jeff.
My mind does that naturally. People just like you just did naturally. Just make a face and I'd be like,
We know, Jeff.
like what? Like, nothing. You said like what you said. I was gonna say OJ was innocent. Yeah.
If you're gonna serve wings or ranch, I don't want to do business with you. I get up and leave, even if I don't get the wings. It's either blue cheese or wings, and no fuck wings.
That's right. Never mind who you thought it was. This is the Buffalluminati Podcast, your keeper of Buffalo's secrets. And today we have an episode for you. I want to say it's going to be a great episode. It's going to, we're going to do our best, but it's a little bit of a heavy episode, a little bit of a sad episode today, because we are talking about the passing of the Juice, Orenthal James Simpson, Buffalo's, I don't know if you could say Buffalo's own, but Buffalo Bill's own. And I'm not going to say much except for make sure that you guys like, share, subscribe, Buffalluminati channel here on YouTube, over on Facebook and Instagram at Buffalluminati. Always having fun. And also, before we get started, huge thank you to Melissa at Lock 34. We had a blast at the Eclipse. Thank you for hosting us. And with that, I'm your host, Jake, and I give the floor to my co-host, Jeff.
Yeah, man. Like you said, it's an episode, man. I just want to echo what you said. Shout out to Melissa, Lock 34, for hosting us. Can't stop thinking about that sweet and spicy wing sauce.
A little something to brighten your day, at least.
Yeah. Then just thinking about it. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, we got an episode, man. It's we're not gonna be super sad, but for me, it's I was shocked. It was a big thing. Everybody who knows me knows, I lean into it, I play into it like the OJ defender, whatever. But you're talking about one of the greatest football careers of all time, regardless of position. So many great things from the start of his career to the end of it to after his career. That everybody, but only it's all tainted because people only want to talk about that one thing. You know what I mean? But he has so many things that are just like statistics, real life stats, and tangible things that can be proven. Winning the Heisman Trophy in 1968. So before he even got to the Bills, I didn't know that before doing a lot of research or like thinking about OJ at an extended level, like that he had an amazing career at USC before he even got to Buffalo. I didn't know that he was drafted number 1 overall by the Bills in 1969. Probably one of the greatest draft picks in Bills history. The dude is literally, obviously everybody talks about the 2003 first 2,000-yard season, 14 games, which is incredible. It's never been done in 16 games, 17 games now, still hasn't been done. Dude did it in 14 games with a 6-yard per carry average, which when I was doing my research said he was not the league leader that season with 6 yards per carry, which is insane because 6 yards per carry in a season is crazy. I didn't look up to see who had it that year, but the fact that he didn't in the year that he ran for 2,003 yards and it was 6, that's insane. He also ran for over 143 yards per game that season, which is another insane stat. You know what I mean? You're talking about 6 Pro Bowls, 5 straight years of all AFC, all pro football teams in the league. First ballot Hall of Famer, another stat I didn't know. First ballot Hall of Famer. Literally top to bottom, one of the best football careers of all time, from college to the end to the Hall of Fame. And he did it 9 years as a Buffalo Bill, 2 years as a San Francisco, 2 years in San Fran. I don't know. I feel proud of that. I feel like kind of similar to how I do with Rick James. Like, you know, he's got his issues, he's got his dark parts, but that happened in Buffalo. Rick James is from Buffalo, and he's one of the greatest. OJ was in Buffalo, and he was one of the greatest for Buffalo. So, to the people who say that he shouldn't be on the new Wall of Fame or the new stadium, I respectfully disagree for all of these reasons that I just said. But yeah, I mean, RIP to the Juice, 76. Cancer, which is, you know, that's a bitch, but I just, the dude was always entertaining. I really enjoyed that. That's one of the reasons I liked him, from Hey Twitter World to, you know, everything, complaining about Andrew Luck that year. He drafted Andrew Luck in fantasy football, and then Luck retired, and he did a funny video complaining about it. Like, the dude, every time you hear him, or even in the trial, you want to go, like, the trial for the murder, and people talked about him, people who knew him, it's like, he's always smiling, he's always a really nice guy. And that's seen every time I've seen him, that seems to be just the way he is. So I've always thought Juice is the man, and I need to go back and watch more Juice movies, I think.
That's right, because yeah, I mean, you touched on the impressive, you know, career as a Buffalo Bill, and like you said, out there as a 49er as well, but mostly as a Bill. And yeah, that wasn't the only thing. I mean, acting, sports commentary, like, he was doing a lot. You know, Naked Gun, you know, a hit, hysterical movie. You know, he's not the lead, but he's, you know, an important co-star, you know, and like, I'm not gonna say, I can't say side character either, but like, you know, supporting character. And
he's literally he's like America's sweetheart. Before that one thing happened, that one blemish, he's like kind of like Derek Jeter, like, too perfect. Except, you know, Derek Jeter never had that one blemish, and OJ had like the biggest blemish of all time. But he was like, before that, he was like, could do no wrong. Everybody loves him.
And I mean, that's why a lot of people don't believe that he did what he was accused of doing. I don't know what we're allowed to say on YouTube as far as that goes. It's a slippery slope.
I did drop the M word earlier.
It's okay. I got censor bars. And I mean, we're gonna. I say that, but I mean, we're about to react to some stuff here in a minute. But I mean, you said it all, as much as you could say. I think, Jeff, very well said. And you know, I got to agree with you in the sense of, you know, just the stats that you gave. Like, that is, any player that has that, you know, those numbers on their resume, that's, you know, like you said, he deserves to be the first ballot Hall of Famer. I know that whether he goes on the Ring of Honor, Wall of Fame, whatever they're going to call it, on the new stadium, that's a very touchy subject right now. I've seen it go both ways. I've seen you have to defend your positions on Facebook. the one thing I can't take away from any of your arguments is, he was found innocent by a jury of his peers. And I mean, that is what it is. I know that there's obviously the civil suit and everything else, the other case, but like you said, sometimes it's not just about the one thing, but sometimes it is, depending on who you ask. And so we obviously are trying to treat this as sensitively as possible. I hope we're doing a good job at that. But with that said, let's get off the rails a little bit, Jeff. I think we can move on to the next segment, which I figured we'd watch. So they called it the trial of the century, and it just so happened to happen in the late 90s, which means we haven't seen the trial of this century yet. But the trial of last century was the trial of O.J. Simpson. We're not going to say what the trial was about, but yeah, one of the most watched events on television at the time. I just saw a post today that was reflecting on, it was a hairstylist that said you would walk outside and there would be nobody outside. Everybody was inside watching for the verdicts the day it came out. Said businesses were closed. It was like the eclipse. Businesses were closed. And if they were open, there was a TV on or a radio tuned
Except
in.
that thing actually happened.
Yeah, people actually got to see that. But the trial of the century, we're not going to react to that, but we're going to react to one of the big lead-ins to that, which is the Bronco chase. Another highly watched moment on American television, mainly because you couldn't get away from it. It was breaking news on every channel. I know it caused a lot of outrage. It cut into the NBA Finals that year, and I think there was something else. And
it was Game 5.
Game 5.
I heard.
And so people were everybody was glued to their TV because of what was happening. But some people were upset, and some people were, as we'll see, just run OJ run. So we'll be right back, and we'll dive into that when we return.
This has such a bizarre feeling to it that this
all right, so I guess we get started, Jeff, with the
so terribly desperate, and it's
most classic image, which is the helicopter shot on the freeway. Can already see supporters on the side of the road.
Who undoubtedly have heard about this on television or on the radio, and they're driving along and they're waving and they're pointing and they're chasing this large group of police officers who are attempting to get OJ.
This really, not only did it shut down LA, it shut down the country. Like everybody was watching this.
About 3 or 4 miles back,
I was a little too
young. I was 3, so.
Yeah, I was 2, so.
They forgot what they were doing, and they smacked into one another.
Damn.
I remember a little bit about the trial, but not, enough to be
this
like.
Whole thing is just surreal.
I wish I could have been old enough to enjoy it like everyone else.
40 miles an hour. We're being kept down to about 40
enjoy
miles
it.
an hour because of all the traffic between us and the police cars up there.
Mark.
And this is Mark Dunn. I'm in the pursuit.
Mark Dunn, random photographer, is in a pursuit with the police.
Boulevard. We've been following this pursuit. I've been in this pursuit now since about the Slauson on-ramp on the 405. We are now westbound on Sunset Boulevard, headed toward the Rockingham address of O.J. Simpson and his family, where we have been hearing reports now that he's on his way to see his mother. Highway Patrol now just moving everyone off to the side of the road. LAPD, along with Highway Patrol and other law enforcement agencies, are following the white Blazer across Sunset Boulevard right now toward that Rockingham address. I might also add that there are literally thousands of people lining
Who the hell is
freeway
this?
in both directions.
Mark Dunn?
Yeah.
Traffic going northbound. We had literally thousands
What
of
the hell?
onlookers
You're
stopping
famously
on the
asshole
freeway.
because
The
you just
southbound
said
freeway is literally stopped, and people are lining the sides
he
of the
called it
street.
a
We have
white
probably
blazer.
between 15 and 30 police
That's
vehicles
crazy.
in this
That's
pursuit
funny.
right now, or in this following, we should say. And
I hate you,
it
Mark.
seems that all
I hate you.
Where he is, and he is, there was speculation he might be out
All right,
of the
so he's
country.
parked at his house now.
Maybe hiding someplace. That is not the case anymore. That situation
Beautiful
has now
dog.
changed.
Beautiful dog out there.
O.J. Simpson is back at his home.
Just chilling, like, what's going
This is
on?
not a friend's home or
Get out of the car.
any secondary
In his
homes.
own home with his hazard
Where
lights
he has
on.
been all day is difficult to speculate. He was out in the valley, then down
Nothing
in Orange
suspicious to
County,
see here.
and now he came back up
He's a
the
man
San
in his
Diego
own home
freeway
under
and has
duress.
come home again. I doubt that he will be leaving again. The police now know where he is. We have found him. The door is opening, and let's see what happens now. We'll watch with
snap.
What are you going to do, OJ?
Perhaps come to his senses, maybe to let some of those pills, sedatives he's been taking wear off, so maybe he can think a little bit more clearly. Jim Hill?
These news people have some strong opinions as well. You tell everybody
We cannot tell if anybody
feels some type of way.
At least the driver's side door is open.
You can tell there's a little bit of judgment being passed. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Definitely some underlying resentment going on.
Lights reflected in the rear window of that Bronco.
So maybe if you lay off the pills, the sedatives.
There is at least one police officer right behind that car, behind the police car, behind the white Bronco. And presumably there are police in the bushes and trees on both sides of the driveway.
It's crazy.
Why are the police in the bushes and the trees?
In the driveway by the driver's side door. That person.
Just in case they gotta take them out. I don't know.
Driver's side door.
It's crazy to me though that there's like,
as if motioning the person
you know, we don't
away.
even have the police helicopter footage, but we have three different helicopter angles, like it's an action movie.
It did not look like somebody who was in a police uniform.
You know,
from the
The only
news.
other development we've seen with this vehicle is what you're seeing
couple
right
different
now.
channels.
The vehicle arrived at the home of
Shout
O.J.
out to
Simpson
him.
in Brentwood. The driver's side door has opened. Police officer in the vehicle right behind the car.
Hopefully they don't crash into each other and land on.
The whole time.
Now there's someone going to
Who
the
that is?
door of the car, reaching in.
Can you tell if that's a uniformed officer?
It may be an officer in a jumpsuit. It may also be a civilian.
So
Okay, that is the man that
it could
got
be
out
anyone.
of the car.
Yes.
That presumably is Al Cowlings.
Now he says it's Al Cowlings.
Aerial
George
shot,
Clooney.
Like that man is bulkier.
That
and
is-
than O.J. Simpson.
God dang it, it's Rick James.
Pretty much, they're both big men.
He's here.
That is the man who
By
got
God.
out of the driver's side door. We
Hey, I'm
presume
sorry,
that
I just
the
messed
Al
up your
Cowlings
couch.
Who was driving. We're not sure.
Listen, OJ, I know you got a lot of stuff going on right now, but
Cowlings, who said that O.J. Simpson had a
I just got
gun to
done
his head,
grinding my feet in your couch.
Whether it was O.J. Simpson himself saying.
Prince is in there making
gun to his
pancakes.
head.
He's making a mess.
One can assume, I think, rather safely, that Al Cowlings is having a conversation at this point with somebody inside that vehicle. That someone, presumably O.J. Simpson, perhaps this is the conversation between
Making a lot of presumptions there, sir.
friends that will resolve this odyssey this afternoon.
Right, wouldn't that be crazy if after
Without
all of
any
this,
more violence,
OJ
without
wasn't
any
even
more
in that
bloodshed.
car?
This is just one of two different vehicles that authorities.
He's
have
on
been searching for
pills. He
today. They had
needs
also
to be
put out
talked out of the
an
vehicle.
I want to commit to that
They were
statement,
searching for this white
but I don't want to
car
commit
that
to
belonged
saying he's in
Cowlings,
that vehicle.
and
What
also
kind of
Simpson's
what?
black Mercedes.
You
There's
can't make
no
this
sign of
stuff
that
up.
whatsoever. So it appears
It's kind of
Because,
wild.
you know, those kids are all you have now, and
Oh, shoot.
there's a tremendous amount of people.
Walter Payton, Man of the Year.
11 o'clock this morning. We picked it up in pursuit at about 6:30 this evening, traveling all the way
Walter
to Orange
Payton,
County,
Man of the Year.
on several
That's who was
freeways,
just talking to
finally
him over the
ending up
phone.
in Brentwood, with at
That's
least
just-
a
is that his
dozen
full
or
name?
so black and white
Yes.
Man of the Year.
Yes,
Uh,
Walter Payton, Man of the Year.
Okay, now
1994 and beyond.
Okay, people are
He was the Man of the Year so much that they named the award after him.
obviously they're
Rowdy people, they're screaming things like "Free OJ," "OJ,
They're
we
rowdy.
love you." The people are sneaking. Okay, come on, take it easy. They're sneaking through
Hey,
the
take it
bushes,
easy.
trying to make their way up
Hell yeah, we
to,
love
the
you.
area where OJ is.
Calm
Take
down.
a look around the crowd
Take
here.
it
Let's
easy.
pan around, take a look.
Take it easy.
say earlier.
I said I think this is really sad. It started with Mike and Robin, Magic Johnson, Latasha Harlan, Rodney King. I'm calling for the unification of the black race, a breakdown of the family and the black race.
What about come on,
just like this?
What about the support for OJ? I mean, earlier you were saying some really important things about OJ here.
I feel that I don't believe that it was OJ that committed the crime, and I feel that all us black people should come together now because they're trying to make us distinct around here.
Trying to make us distinct around here.
I think there's a lot of people here trying to get on the camera like myself.
Mary, can you hear us?
She was swallowed by the mob.
Mary, can you hear us?
I think we lost Mary.
Mary?
I hope
no.
we can get to her and instruct her just to withdraw from there. There's no reason we don't stand to gain a whole lot from that. People want to express views. We want to hear views, but that seemed to be a kind of a volatile situation. We'd like to get Mary out of there.
It's an interesting sidebar to what the police are having to deal with as they try on the one front.
This channel too has a lot of very strong opinions and assumptions about certain people. I don't like it.
Rowdy people. I love the adjectives they use to describe.
Were they the ones that? I think that was the one that was also saying he was on pills, was it not?
I don't know. Was he either 2 or 11?
I don't know. Now
you were implying that, sir. You were implying that.
What did he say? I stopped it.
Oh, did you?
I'm going back to look.
He said I didn't mean to imply that those were violent people or anything, and then he's like, "But," and then goes on.
he walked it back. Oh my god!
But you did imply. That's exactly what you implied.
I'm just gonna play it for
behind. On the other front, they're trying to keep 500 or 1,000 rowdy people who away who would like to get up to the scene.
That rowdy
so
word
it gives
again.
you a pretty good picture of how very complex the police job is at this very moment, and how very delicate to keep those people away and try to get away.
Yeah, I'm not meaning to imply that those
I'm not trying to imply that those are violent people there, but they're quite agitated.
What we could tell, quite agitated.
And there you go again.
About this situation at all, and we do want to hear their views, but we want to hear their views in the.
Wow.
Honestly, it's like the times have not changed. What he just said, we want to hear their view. Did you stop it again?
Yeah, I did, but I heard that. Yeah, we want to hear their views, but not.
But we want to hear it in a peaceful setting.
Yeah.
It's like times have not changed. Well, you can't. It's like sometimes you have to do that to be heard. Come on now. That's literally how our country was founded, and people be like, "You can't do that, man. You can't disrupt the status quo, man."
What went on during this would-be surrender earlier in the day?
Well, we saw the setup with the lights, and there's a chair over there to what would be your
chair.
right, I believe.
I'm seeing a chair.
Out there on the grass.
No,
some police officers.
The auditorium.
Okay.
It's just
there's a whole building here.
All right. Well, good. We have a
good Lord, is that a door?
We're going to roll.
Oh, the hair.
Of O.J. Simpson in the car after he had surrendered and after he had been taken into custody.
Not keep in mind.
Quoted earlier.
Glimpse we have had of O.J. Simpson all day long. Even when we had people on the ground there, as you can
they
see,
had boots on the ground.
We had people on the ground through that police pursuit.
And you still can't see him. It's like the eclipse.
We couldn't see him. Also, Bob Turk swooped very low in the helicopter. Got a real good view through the window that we had on television earlier. And we didn't.
OJ says elusive as the eclipse.
It was like reading a novel, except
I hate her hair.
And each day was a new chapter.
Well, these are your favorites, Channel 2.
New events, and it's been a gripper right from Monday morning through here till and
it's been a gripper.
Now we have months to go through waiting for DNA evidence to come in, and months of pretrial and months of trial. And,
don't even know, lady.
What a story. We have
Michael Scott.
Of O.J.
Still at the scene.
House. Let's go back out to him right
now.
Oh,
that's not him.
Okay, we've moved down a little bit into the crowd. You know, the two of you were just mentioning how
I thought.
riveted to this whole drama. Well, let's talk to some of the people who've been here for the good part of the evening. When you heard that it was over, what was the feeling going through your head?
I felt it. I don't know. I feel right now he's getting a raw deal because due to the media, right now a lot of the public is already has convicted him. You know, and for all we know, I feel pity for the victim.
That is a beautiful head of hair.
For sure.
Well, then when when you heard that, if you feel he's a victim, when you heard that,
it reminds me of Hollywood Mark.
How'd you feel?
I feel a lot better. I'm glad he didn't go out back.
Shout
you know
out.
what I'm saying? But I feel a lot better to see it happen the way it did. Because just like everybody else, he was an idol in my life too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad it happened the way it did.
All right, let's talk to this young lady here. Let's move you up here. Where were you when you heard the news that he was okay?
I was coming from my job.
And you decided to come out here?
Yeah, with my mom. Because I like O.J. Simpson. He was real good in Naked Gun. He was funny. I don't think he did.
He was funny in Naked Gun. I don't think he did it.
Let's
go.
He's too funny to murder.
But again,
I
he's
mean,
a man who was charged for 2 murders. Is that kind of hard to put those two together in your head?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he would be the type to do that.
you don't have to put this girl on TV, sir.
Here, where were you when you heard that O.J. was safe and sound?
I was studying for finals.
Oh my God.
Bro, I was studying for finals.
I see what he's doing.
I've heard so much about O.J. Simpson. Everybody says he's such a nice guy, and
these two are high as a kite.
I'm upset about this whole thing. It's just too bad it happened.
What made you two decide to come down here?
We've been watching on TV. Actually, we only live a mile away from here, so we decided, what the heck, we'll walk over here. But yeah, I just want to say good luck to O.J. And
as I just said to the lady over here, though, this is a man who's been charged with murder. Is it kind of a confusing thing in your mind to cheer for him and then also?
I'm not cheering for him. I'm just saying that good luck.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
You share those?
They will be
okay. How's that?
Amanda. Solid, sir.
Okay, what I'm going to try to do here is take my time and patiently explain some of the events that unfolded this afternoon.
We have to cut a lot out of this part.
That's the worst thing to hear at the beginning of things like this. Meetings, any gatherings.
Transported here to Parker Center. He is being booked and processed. That'll include prints, mugshot. Those kinds of activities will occur here at Parker Center.
Took his fingerprints at approximately 2:37 p.m.
LA County, Maine Central. Felony, $250,000 bail. He is being processed here at Parker Center. He will also be transported to the Maine Central Jail, LA County.
That whistle?
Background, yeah.
He said 250,000, something like that. Damn.
Let me touch briefly on some events that occurred.
Most of the people that were here supported OJ rather. It had the potential to get very ugly, but
we got AJ, we got Blazers.
Most of the folks here told us they were headed to Parker Center to continue their show of support for Simpson.
Fire Channel 2.
Right behind all the Metro cars.
No, we're on the Metro cars.
We're on the Metro cars. A long trail of police cruisers raced down Sunset Boulevard from the 405 freeway. With full lights and sirens, LAPD and sheriff's units make their way through heavy traffic toward Rockingham Avenue. An unruly mob of at least 400 people.
Unruly mob.
Supporters fought to
Channel 2 at it again.
They seem completely organized.
Although he's doing his run and everything, I believe that he has to. I don't want him to I want him to give himself up and go through the legal system and get a fair chance to do it.
First it was Tyson. Now it's OJ. It was Michael Jordan. And it seemed like all our role models is being tucked on to. For what reason?
Being tuck on to.
Let him know he has someone on his side.
I don't know what that means, but.
So he can go through the courts and get this taken care of. Because running, that ain't gonna solve.
That's right.
Moments after giving up,
Give yourself up, OG. Do the right thing, and he did that.
Cheer him on.
You see the results and the fruits of the happening.
Now the police and media as well continue to pull out of this area, and police are telling us the streets should be clear within the next 45 minutes.
She certainly moved away from there.
Yeah, they got her out of that rowdy and volatile situation.
As the effort to capture O.J. Simpson grew more intense, more customers began to focus on the monitors covering the pursuit.
Crazy.
Well, I think it's ironic that we're in the fourth quarter with the Knicks and we're in the fourth quarter with O.J. here. So I'm just terribly concerned. I'm frightened.
That was like the most 90s half a joke I've ever heard.
Humor seemed to be the only only way to deal with it.
I heard that they called one of the agencies where they got a OJ lookalike and a Bronco, and it almost feels like an out-of-body experience. I think it's terribly tragic.
It's almost like a movie unfolding, but it's real life, and it's somebody you can relate to back to childhood.
It was kind of bizarre. It was something that
No, you can never relate to OJ.
we never expected something like this ever.
The mullets of this era were crazy.
With somebody that was well like OJ.
It had to be the #1 attention grabber of the day. These security guards found themselves glued to their TV set.
Their entire building was robbed.
Football player, not like football. Him is an important figure in this world because he is a celebrity. He's a good one. And it's just to show that it can happen to you, to me, anyone.
Even though everyone seemed to
anyone can stab their wife and wife's boyfriend.
It could happen to you because it happened to me and OJ.
Toughest day in my broadcast career, a day that I'm sure many of you will never, ever forget. The first thing that comes to my mind right now are the two young kids of Nicole and O.J. Simpson. And we have to remember that these young people have to live with this for the rest of their lives, and they should be in the uppermost part of our minds. Also, we have to remember that a man is innocent. No matter what's happened, you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, there's something that really comes to mind right now. The O.J. that we found out about and the O.J. that we know. The O.J. that we know was a very civic-minded individual, a young man who even carried the torch when the Olympic Games were getting ready to come here to the Los Angeles area. And then when he came here to USC, he only played a couple of years for the Trojans, but electrified us all with his magnificent running ability and even won the Heisman Trophy as the most outstanding college football player in the country. And from there, he went on to even greater heights in the National Football League. He played for the Buffalo Bills, and with the Bills, he became the first man ever to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season. And it seemed like everything was going great for O.J. Simpson, and that he had the Midas touch. Not only could he write his own ticket, he was indeed writing his own ticket. That was the bright side of O.J. Simpson. Then there was the dark side that maybe many of us refuse to acknowledge, refuse to believe, or even refuse to try and accept.
He played in that era too.
Close earlier this week with the murder of his wife and a friend, and all of these things that come to mind right now make us realize that, well, we should also and always try to talk a little bit more to each other. We should always try to take care of, think about, care for, and look out for each other even more, and always watch the telltale signs of the very beginnings of something that can really end up to be tragic. It started out as a magnificent career for O.J. Simpson. It ended up tonight, as we saw, in a lot of controversy. And all we can say to all the families that are involved is that our prayers go out to you, and that we always want you to believe, to keep the faith. And that's what everyone has been calling here tonight. Let's wait and see exactly what happens.
Well said,
we will wait and see. And thank you for being here with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I think these two already made up their minds.
Well, for the latest on the O.J.
I mean, well said by Jim Hill, even at the time.
Yeah, he wrapped it up nicely.
Yeah, and I think that's probably a good place for us to wrap it up. I mean, we're at the end of this, like I said, 5 hours worth of coverage. Thank you once again to News from the Past for such a comprehensive video so that we didn't have to jump all over the place. You know, I mean, really wild stuff, like going back and looking at it. Like you said, we were too young at the time to really appreciate what was going on. But now that you can see, you know, like with the sports bar, how it just, like this really did this whole ordeal from like this point, and maybe even before when you know, the murders happened. But from then to the verdict and how it shut down, you know, because everybody needed to see, like they said, trial of the century. And, you know,
just so many interesting details from the people involved to the charge to just every little detail. The chase, the L. Connelling's mediation.
Right, yeah. And
just a lot of weird and
there's a lot of moving parts to it. There's a lot of moving parts to it. And I mean, throughout the entire ordeal, there was, You know.
Yeah, that's not even mentioning like the investigation and other things that took place.
Right, yeah, 'cause that was
throughout the entire process. Yeah,
that was very controversial, but yeah. So we'll wrap this up with a rest in peace, OJ. I hope that the Browns and the Goldmans find their peace, and the Simpson family finds their peace, and yeah, this is just a wild week in sports, not the least of which being this. So this has been the Buffalluminati Podcast. Jake, along with your co-host, Jeff. And next one coming at you, we're definitely going to hit some more positive topics. But make sure you like and subscribe. Buffalluminati on Facebook and Instagram. Check them out. And thank you guys for watching.